Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Welcome to meeting number 1327. I hope you all are refreshed and I hope you all had a great week.
Yes.
So the theme for today's meeting is, the earth is what we all have in common. Now I have this quote by my favorite astrophysicist, Carl Sagan. He saw a picture of the Earth taken by the Voyager and he said this: "The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species can migrate. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand." To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another, and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Friends, there are 7.8 billion of us on this planet right now. And needless to say, the only thing we have in common is the earth. I know we all have our disagreements, there will always be disagreements within our species. But we need to preserve our planet and, for the sake of civilization, make the world a better place. Now I know we have the earth in common, but here in our Toastmasters community, we have a few rules in common that all Toastmasters like to follow. And I would like you to keep them in mind. 1, do not get up and move around when someone is speaking on stage. You may do so when you hear an applause. 2, take out your mobiles and put them on silent. I want to see all of you do that right now. And 3, make sure you don't see anything that can hurt or offend others. For today's meeting, we have a very special person who will take this session forward. He is a technology enthusiast and he works in the aerospace industry. He loves playing table tennis and badminton. And he says that he likes learning new things constantly. Any guesses on who this person is? George. Yes. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, please put your hands together for today's presiding officer and the VP membership of our club, Toastmaster George Desai.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chandra, for your kind introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters and all my dear guests.
Good evening.
I declare meeting number 1327 open. Are there any guests over here? Thank you. So, for the benefit of you, Toastmaster is a platform where we learn the public speaking skills and also leadership and also the networking skills. And Bangalore Toastmaster Club is one of the second largest and oldest club in India, where we can learn from a 18-year student to a 70-year plus veteran speakers. So recently there was one of the article about the story of Meenakshi. Anyone read about that recently? The article title was "From Shame to the Hall of Fame." Little bit about her story, that she was, as a student in a young age, she was very fearful whenever class teacher used to ask her to read any textbooks because she had a disability of stuttering. But fast forward, she went to US. She worked on her public speaking skills, and she now owns a disability big institution, and she mentors her. Why I am saying that? Toastmaster is also a platform where such disability can be improved. I also came with a disability of fear of public speaking, and this is a platform where I have the conducive atmosphere to speak, and no one is there to judge but to support. So that's about Toastmaster, and I am, as she mentioned, I am the vice president of membership. So at the break, we will, if you want to know more about Toastmaster, I am happy to tell more about that. So coming to the last minutes of meeting that was shared on Sunday, would like to ask if any changes or amendments in that minutes of meeting? Yeah.
Along with the speaker's name, even the speech title also should be mentioned. Okay, that's my point.
So we will take that and also would ask. Yeah, we will decide. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Good. Happy to decide. So any other amendments or changes you recommend? If there are no further changes, I pass meeting number 1326 as passed. Okay, so coming to today's theme, the world in common, that's what we are. That reminds me that world, we as a complete one community can help to save this planet Earth. So I come from aerospace industry, and aerospace industry contributes around 2 to 3% of man-made emissions on the total man-made emissions. So we have come up with many drivers, such as coming with zero emission aircraft, where we use biofuel, where we can use the greener power, such as renewable power from solar, wind, hydro, and so forth. So what about ourselves? So there was a famous quote that from African proverb saying that the world is not ours, the earth is not ours. The one we carry is this wealth to give it to our next generation. So this impacts us very much, that this wealth as an earth we carry to our children and next generation. So past from few years or few months, I could say, when we have this more about we talking about greenhouse emission and climate impact in Paris Agreement or COP26 and so forth, what I thought, how can I tweak my lifestyle changes little bit? So I slightly tweaked my lifestyle, my attitude towards whenever there is a short journey to walk, go and buy something, I normally walk or bicycle rather than taking my scooter. And also switching on my fan lights whenever I go out of room, which was not before. I used to go and come back. And also take the carpooling whenever I used to go to office and so forth. So these are small things, but when we do all together, there is having a big impact. So that's the take for me on today's theme. So moving on towards today's Toastmaster of the day. I think he is the apt Toastmaster of the day, fitting to today's theme. He works in the solar energy from before in last 8 years, and currently working in company called Enphase Energy, which helps to generate power on roof and to save it on the battery. And I asked him, what is take away on the theme? He told, we have taken our Mother Earth as granted, and our planet is going to a slow death. We all have to do something about it right now. With that, I would like to call our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Shashank.
President, good evening to Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Toastmaster Jose has built a beautiful house in the outskirts of Bangalore. Now, if I tell him that there is a man-eating cheetah near your house, Jose, right, it really crawls around, and if I ask you to come out at the midnight, will you? Well, I'm very sure we won't because the threat is imminent. But today, if I tell you, the scientists are saying there's going to be 2-degree increase in temperature of this planet. Are you worried about 2 degrees? So what? I'll actually switch on my AC, right? It has got a very good temperature control. It should, most of us are not. But then, if I tell Nitin, he's got a beautiful house just 100 meters from the beach in Suratka. If I tell him that in 15 years, that house will be under the remains, I think we will be concerned. We will not experience it for kids. It's gone. My dear friends, unless the impact is directly on us, we don't take action. But it's time we change this attitude. We all live in communities, right? You all have those apartment addas and actually whatnot when you are in an apartment or in a housing colony, or actually you have your community based on your castes, right? And you try to give a lot of things. But then, why do you call it as community? Because you got something in common. I think it's time to think that all of us have this planet Earth as a common element. Forget about the borders, the boundaries, countries. Unless we think we are all one and take one step, this planet is going to die. So that's about the thing. And this, in fact, is a quote said by Wendell Berry, who's a farmer and a novelist who wrote this movement in the US. Now the question is, what is that one step we need to take, right? So George was mentioning about cycling. It also happens to be the World Bicycle Day, and that's actually a wonderful step. In 2003, I also did the same. One of my friends told me, why don't we cycle to work? That was from Ghanshyam to Bagmane Tech Park, 20 kilometers. I said, are you mad? But he kept on pushing me, and one day we started at 6 o'clock, and I just realized it just took 45 minutes. That was the first step, and afterwards, every week, twice, I used to cycle from Bangalore to Bagmane, and I'll tell you, the feeling is wonderful. One appeal to you, being a World Bicycle Day, if you are beyond the wheels, please show some respect to the person who's cycling. In India, we don't have a dedicated path, but at least when they struggle there in the lanes, I've seen people making gestures and whatnot, cursing at us. They feel that actually we are really slowing them down, but then actually we'll be overtaking the BMW in the signal. So that's how it works. So my appeal to you, please respect them. Feel proud that they are really working for you. That said, it is all about action. So when I talk about cycle, I remember a friend of mine when I was in primary. He had a cycle. That's the reason actually I just remember, because we didn't have anything. Now, every day his dad used to scold him. He used to just take 35 marks, that is just the pass mark, right? And neighbor, there was a girl who used to take 98% all the time. So his dad used to scold him. Look at her. She always scores 98%, and actually look at her and learn from her. So one day his son said, Dad, I am taking 35% because I have been looking at her all the time. My dear friends, looking at someone, you don't learn. That's what Ralph C. Smedley thought years back in 1924. He said, I will create a platform for people, not just to come and say that, oh, speaking like this is good, your body language has to be like this, vocal variety has to change. But then he said, come here and experiment. Come here and try. That is how Toastmaster is different than all other forums or clubs. People come here, there is a solid guideline on actually what is the project or actually what is that actually need to talk about. And most important thing, you have someone who's giving you feedback. That is called the evaluation process. And today we have a person whom we call him as a general evaluator, who evaluates the entire meeting. Now, I'll not give too much details about him right now, but definitely when he comes up to the stage, it's really majestic. Maybe because of his last name. Please join our general evaluator today, Alok Simha. There are some technical aspects. When you're speaking here, however good the speaker is, there is a short attention span. Beyond that, it will go. Timing is very important. So to keep or to make a note of the timing allotted for each speaker, we have Toastmaster Nagendra. He is a timer for the evening today. Welcome him. We got actually a big lined up. I think there are 4 speakers lined up today. So I think I'll talk about the roles here, and then actually when they announce the time parameters, we can talk about it. All right. So then, as we speak, we tend to forget. Well, sitting there, you remember everything, but you come here, forget. That's when you try to make use of these crutch words. So, I've already, I think, told many times as a field of education. So, right? So, we have someone called as our counter, and today's our counter is Toastmaster Chetan. Please give me a big round. Pleasant personality amongst us. Everyone loves us so much. Our grammarian for the day, Toastmasters today. And the listener. Listening is one of the most important skills in a Toastmasters meeting, and we have Toastmaster Yash. So he's a listener today. Earlier, Toastmaster is a very structured program, and the first part today is called prepared speech session. They say when you are giving the first speech, it is very easy for you to talk about yourself, and in Toastmasters we call it an icebreaker. I'm not going to give an introduction about this speaker for a while, as they told you, one of the effects of the climatic change is this untimely rains, plus this monsoon. So we have an evaluator who is conducting the traffic jam. Yes, we have. So may I call upon the evaluator of speaker number 1, Toastmaster Ayappa, to give the guidance of the speech, please.
Good evening, everybody. The speaker is representing the icebreaker, and you introduce yourself and himself, and yeah, that's it about
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayappa.
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please continue your applause to welcome the first speaker, Ghanshyam Rajdeep.
Namaskar, Bangalore.
Namaskar.
Any guesses from which place I belong to? Bangalore. Let's make it, okay, let me give it one more hint and make it easier for you. Padhara Desh is something that states resonates with. Any guesses?
Rajasthan.
Yeah, absolutely. You are correct, it's Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, there is a small place which is called Nokha. There is nothing anokha about Nokha, but still this place is anokha. Coming to this place, and this is a small place, and coming from there, and after coming from there, and there is nothing anokha about Nokha, and there is nothing anokha about this Nokha. But everyone in my family is, which they call by mom and dad. So whenever I think about my native place, the first thing which comes in my mind is my mom and dad. My dad, Mr. Om Prakash Rathi, he is also similar to the how the other guy, how the other Marwari dad, he likes money, but apart from that, he loves me more. And you know what's the reason why he loves me more? The secret behind is that, the secret behind of he loving me that, because I'm the youngest person in my family. And let's talk about my mom, Mrs. Sangeeta Devi Rati. And you know how moms are. They are like, I don't even need to talk about mom. Their unconditional love and how they love their child. So that's about my mom and dad. I have two older siblings, and they both have similarly affected me with love and affections. And coming to the academics, I have done my schooling from my hometown, but I have not which I have completed my schooling from my hometown, and that is, it's nothing anokha about that you know, like village school, where typically where teacher comes, and the English teacher, when she comes, she talks only in Hindi. And naturally, when I shifted to Bangalore, अंग्रेजी में हाथ थोड़ा टाइट था मेरा. And after coming to Bangalore, things were really hard for me, because learning the things over here, and there was no, because by that time neither Kannada nor English made any sense to me.
Very sure there's a lot of Anoka things about you. Ghanshyam, your name itself is actually so Anoka, right? Yeah. The Toastmasters, what you witnessed is the first speech where it is an introduction, and he is working in one of the largest multinationals in this world, SAP. That's the kind of talent Ghanshyam is, right? I'm very sure one day he's going to be a great orator. All right, so we'll move on to second project. Let me call his evaluator, Abhay, to give the guidelines. So this is Pathways Presentation Mastery Manual. Yes, Abhay.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The speaker is attempting the first project from level 1, and the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose, and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Time manager, please note, time is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Over to you, Mr.
So I introduce him the way he sent me the data. I'm an entrepreneur and a professional trainer, founder and trainer at Staxo Academy, co-founder and director at GST Garage and Staxo Consultants. Trained over 5,000 individuals, including students, CA, foreign delegates, corporate and government employees, officers and auditors of CAG, officers and commissioners of income tax. Now, you will expect an old man without hair, maybe coming here with a suit. But look at this gentleman. Please welcome Speaker Shashank. But this is the kind of
how many of you here grew up with a pet or have one now? It's a very good number. How many of you paid a very good amount of money to buy a pet? I believe others adopted. We hope so. What are the issues you faced when you first got your pet home? Was it easy getting your pet home?
Convincing at home.
Convincing. When I told my parents that we'll have a dog at home, my mother jumped in out of nowhere and told me, nothing doing. We already have 2 dogs at home. I can't afford to look at another. but okay. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. People pay a lot of money to buy dogs and cats also for that matter. It's very easy to buy a pet in India. You give a quote, you ask for a breed, the pet is ready. Have you looked at the condition of the breeding centers? If you look at it, probably you will change your mind before buying a pet. Most of the breeders, in fact in Bangalore there is a hotspot, Alsur, which has a lot of breeding centers. Most of the breeders don't have licenses, they are not legitimate. They don't follow breeding norms, but still they are there. People can't do anything about it. What do they do? How do they breed? Every heat cycle the dog goes into, they compulsorily breed, and it's a forceful breed. The dogs are kept in small cages, tiny cages, and the pets are sold when they are as young as 28 days old. Cats or pups and kittens should not be separated from the mothers for at least 8 weeks. They get the immunity from the mother. They learn social behaviors from mother and siblings. But when the breeders sell the pets or pups or kittens when they are just 20, 25, 28 days old, most of them die. What's worse? When the mother dogs is not able to breed, they just discard them. They just abandon them, they let them die. They just left on footpaths, they left on streets, they let them die. What is the solution for this then? Are all breeders bad? No. There are good ethical breeders too. But how would we know? Right? What is the solution for this then? Let us reduce the demand. Let us avoid buying. Let us adopt. In fact, whenever breeders continuously have litter after litter, right? Whenever one dog is sold, an innocent and homeless puppy loses its chance to find a good home. On 20th November 2007, our life changed for good. My father got a call from his friend. He told him, my son brought home a pet which was laying in the school footpath, just 20 days old. We stay in an apartment, we can't look after it. Can you please keep it with you? That's what we wanted, right? He just called my brother, asked him, do you want a pet at home? Me and my brother shouted yes. And voila, the pet was there at home that night. They named it Tinu. What sort of a name is Tinu? Right? I renamed it to Tina. Now, Tina sounds stylish. She was a fun-loving pet. She was always there for us. Pets are always there for us, right? Imagine you going back home after this meeting today with no one at home, or probably your spouse or someone at home opens the door and says, you came, there's dinner there, eat and go back. How is this? Or when you go back home, as soon as you open the door, the pet jumps into your arms and say, welcome back, where are you? I was missing you. Even now, if I go back home today, I have a cat, Chummi. You open the door, she'll sit on the shoe stand waiting for me till I come. There is a very close bond between humans and pets. So coming back to Tina, she was a fun-loving person. She always commanded attention. But there is also one issue. We'll have to adapt with each other. How do they adapt with our lifestyle? She was a pure vegetarian dog. She ate whatever we ate because we are from vegetarian background. She was a pure vegetarian herself. Chapatis, rice, rotis, coffee, Maggi. Maggi was a favorite. How did we adapt to her lifestyle? We could not travel much because we can't leave a dog alone at home and go out. Who will feed her? Who will take care of her? Who will take her for a walk? Again, taking her for a walk 4 to 5 times a day. We have to learn the art. But having said all this, it's not very easy to have a dog at home, or a pet for that matter. We should have that commitment. Every one of us, pets, humans, we come with an expiry date. And it's not easy when the pet is about to cross the rainbow bridge, when it's about to pass away. On 5th December 2016, when I was working at office, my brother called me and told me, Tina is no more. I asked him, what happened? Passed away. In 2 days, gone. Was it easy? It's still not easy. I still will tell you an example. After 1 week, after Tina passed away, my dad was sleeping probably at around 6 a.m. in the morning. He starts shouting, Tina, leave me, leave my hand. My mom woke him up and asked, what happened? He told me, Tina was licking my hand. You can understand emotion, right? Having pet is all about emotion. It's up to you. If you want to have a pet, you should be very strong. Because for us, pets are part of our life. But for the pets, we are the life. What are we assuring when you have a pet? No, Tina passed away, now I have Chunni. And after 20 years, I have some other pet. What is the takeaway here? What are we assuring the pets? We are giving a better life to a life which had no life. That's my time. Over the Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Shashank. Yes. These days, people are really adopting more and more pets. So one of the reasons they talk about is the unconditional love. I always wonder if the pets could talk. So unconditional really comes because they can't talk. If they had told you are coming from the office, why are you so late? Very sure you would have allowed it actually that way. Anyhow, that's actually God's creation, and I'm sure that really can change your life. So I have a similar experience, which I'll share later. Alright, so the next speaker, he's the pride of our club. His name in our agenda itself makes members walking in large numbers, which has happened today despite the weather conditions. Right? He is an academician, a trainer, a motivational speaker, and his other name for fun. The way he puts the point across, you will just witness in a moment. He is a gold medalist on 3 occasions. He's completed his MCom, MBA, and MPhil, and he has been awarded doctorate in commerce for his research in strategic evaluation training. Well, I need not say more. You just type his name in Google, Rajdeep M, and Google speaks for himself. Right? Now, before we invite the speaker, may I call upon his evaluator, Nitin Bengaluru, to read the guidance.
Thank you, Toastmaster. The speaker is attempting Pathways Leadership Development Level 3, which aims at understanding vocal variety. The purpose of this project is to practice using vocal variety to enhance a speech. Time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Nitin. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Rajdeep M and his speech writer. Yet syndrome.
It was March of this year and the summer extravaganza sale at Jio Supersmart store at Shantinagar was its peak. There were swarms of buyers like ants attacking a lump of sugar. But the downside to this entire shopping extravaganza was the long line to get your bill made. I was standing in the line and there was a lady in front of me who was fretting and fuming. And if there is one word which has to be taught again and again to all Indians from the time they are born, which they don't learn in the letter of the alphabet, is the letter Q. Everybody tries to break the queue. And suddenly from the bolt of the blue, a man came and he parked his trolley just in front of this lady. This lady was absolutely furious. She shouted, "What are you doing? You're mad! I'm waiting there for 20 minutes and you're standing in front of me." The man said, "Madam, you have not kept your trolley properly. It was not in the right line. I'm standing in front of you. You don't have any manners." There was an argument. And before I could realize, the lady took out a packet of cream from her bag and sprayed it at the man. It was horrible. What ensued was chaos, commotion, confusion. I got so scared that there were two people standing behind me and I told them, sir, I am not in a hurry. If you want to come, you can come. I don't know what happened to that man or that woman, but I want to tell you one thing. If there is one epidemic which is reigning our generation today, which is more catastrophic than cancer, more appalling than AIDS, more paralyzing than portfolio, it is the H syndrome or the hurry syndrome or hurry sickness, which is often referred to as time poverty, where we are always in a hurry. When we are doing something, we want to do something else. When we are listening to somebody, we are thinking of what should we do the next thing. When we are actually relaxing, we are feeling guilty. We wear this entire episode of hurrying as a badge of honor. We see people pressing the lift button again and again, 5 times, 6 times, as if the lift is going to come faster when you press it. We all the time are looking at things which we shouldn't be doing and hurrying all the time. Haven't you seen in the traffic signal honking away as if you honk, the traffic signal will give way. As the numbers are coming down 50, 41, your blood pressure is going up. And all the time in this hurry. And this hurry has actually enveloped our generation. I work in a college and the other day there was a boy who was standing in the quadrangle and he couldn't speak properly, had a stuttering problem, and he was telling, I want to go to, and there were these 5 boys around him saying, hey, you want to go to the toilet, you want to go to the basement, you want to go to the library, you want to go to the classroom. And this boy scratched his head and he said, I forgot where I want to go. All the time in a hurry. I asked these boys who go full speed to their homes, what are you doing? You're going so fast. What's the point? No, sir, I'll reach 5 minutes earlier. The disease of our generation is you want to reach 5 minutes earlier, but you have no idea what to do with those 5 minutes when you reach earlier. The important thing which happens is that, sir, no, sir, even if you go faster, the girls will get impressed. So I asked the other day one girl who was standing and I asked her, hey, you get impressed when these guys go so fast? She said, sir, no, sir, it doesn't make any difference. I said, why? No, sir, they go so fast, you can't see the face of them. All the time in a hurry, you don't know why. Our heads are like loaded pistols waiting to go off at any point of time. Leave alone traffic signals and educational institutions. Even when you want to spend leisure time with your family, you are in a hurry. You will go to a restaurant with your spouse and children, and as soon as you land at the restaurant, you'll be in a hurry, looking around, where's the waiter? Hey, place the order fast, place the order fast. As soon as the waiter takes your order, instead of enjoying the time with your family, you will keep looking at the kitchen door. Every 2 minutes, when will my order come? When will my order come? And when the order comes with that waiter bringing your dishes, he comes and he puts the dishes on some other table. And when they place it in the other table, you get angry. Oh, waiter, come here. What's the point? It was my order. Why didn't it come? Do you know he'll give you the same answer always? Sir, wait, sir. 5 minutes, order will come, sir. Order will come. How many ever times you ask him, he will give you the same answer. It will come. Why are you in such a hurry? The point is, as we hurry up, we lose our peace of mind. But the question is, how do we develop this quality and what do we do to tackle this hurry sickness? We spend thousands of rupees going to a gym to build up our muscles for weight training. But I am telling you, do another type of training, weight training, W-A-I-T training. Wait a little bit, have some patience. How do you build up this patience? Karen Kuntz, a famous psychologist, says stop. Just stop for 3 or 4 times in a day for 2 minutes each. Don't pause, don't slow down, just stop for 2 minutes and don't do anything at all for those 3 or 4 times in a day for 2 minutes. And you'll see that you'll slow down. The other thing is, do some natural entertainment. Go to a park, watch the trees, do something where you will connect with nature and that slows you down. Watch trees, watch flowers. Nature has its own way. Nature never hurries, but everything gets accomplished. Do the rivers hurry, but they still reach their destination? Do the trees hurry, but they still bear fruits? Do the flowers hurry? But they still blossom. If all our mothers were in a hurry, nobody would have been here. Would have been delivered in 5-6 months. So the question arises, just wait. Otherwise, nature will force you to slow down. As Christopher Reeves, the famous actor of Superman, had the paralytic attack. As Krishna Kumar, doing 5 shows every day, was forced to permanently slow down. Roger Moore, one of the famous James Bond actors, had once said, after suffering a nervous breakdown, I am in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush till life's no fun. All I've got to do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and I don't know why. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajdeep. So we said Toastmasters, we come here to improve our communication skills. If you really see, you get to learn so many things. It was just a simple stuff which he told us, right? It can really, the example he took on the traffic, that can reduce so much of chaos in Bangalore if we really follow that what he really said. So thank Rajdeep once again for that wonderful tip. And we go to the next speaker. Today, I asked all the role takers about what is that, what would their contribution to save this planet. And I didn't see much action item coming from many except for this speaker. He said he always carries a cloth bag with him wherever he goes. Again, a simple thing, and that can really save you all those plastics and unwanted stuff, right? So that's something I think all of us can incorporate in our life. Now, before introducing the speaker, I'll call upon his evaluator, DTM Teresa Marta, to read the guidelines, please.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Today's speaker has 2 purposes of his project. First purpose of the project is for the member to reflect on his growth during the completion of an entire path. The second purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his growth during the completion of the path. Timer, please note the time allotted is 10 to 12 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Teresa. Title is a bit of a puzzle. It says 5D and 5P. So I'm really curious. Toastmaster Nagesh Ramamurthy. Please welcome him. He is a construction engineer by profession, and put your hands together to welcome Nagesh.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. 5D and 5P is what I'm going to talk about, that I have learned throughout this journey of completing one path. Toastmasters, do you remember the core values of Toastmasters? The 4 core values: RISE. Respect, integrity, service, and excellence. I want to add one more letter to that, which I am going to come to it in some time. I was sitting on my mother's lap, looking out of the window, lush green meadows, cool breeze hitting on my face. There comes the TT asking for tickets. 21st of May 2021. This is how I started my icebreaker speech. My train journey is what I relished and I wanted to share with my fellow Toastmasters there. 379 days today, I stand before you talking about what did I do in this journey. 4 Ds is what I wanted to talk about. The first learning that I had was I have a breath which is limited. For public speakers, the time is also limited. 5 to 7 minutes. After my icebreaker, I said, this is a wonderful platform. I need to dedicate some amount of my daytime for being a good public speaker. Many of you know, I'm a 4 to 9 p.m. person. I said, most of the time I waste is from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Let me use that wasted time for Toastmasters. That's when I started learning a lot, listening to champions on YouTube and things like that. Thanks to DTM Rajdeep, I have been his mentor. I've directly approached him, and also as an Eklavya, I have learned from him and many celebrated Toastmasters. Dedicate some time is the first D. While I was preparing a lot of my speeches from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, one day my wife walks in and she says, will you break a coconut for me? I need to make some chutney. I said, wait 5 to 7 minutes. I'll do that for you. That's how I thought I'm so dedicated up to 5 to 7 minutes. After the icebreaker, next few speeches, I wrote volumes of the stories that I wanted to share on this platform. My second speech, L1P2, was 5 pages, the first draft. When I looked at it, I said 5 pages in 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 7 minutes is not done. The second lesson I learned was how do I compress this and fit it into the time I have. That's when I chanced upon somebody telling me in one of the general evaluations that speeches are not written. Speeches are rewritten. There I go. I spent my 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. time rewriting my speeches to condense it. Can you make one paragraph into one sentence without changing the essence? Can you shift one sentence to one word without changing the essence? Is why I worked upon. Developing my speeches was my second D. As I mentioned, I had to write a lot of stories to come here and talk about do my project speeches. Every speech had to be a story. Because the guideline says you can't repeat what is there in the guideline. So I had to build a story. Too many stories. And as I said, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. was the time I used to sit on the porch. That's where a lot of ideas used to come. A lot of ideas which never got converted into stories. And stories never went forward in form of a speech. That's when I said, I have to let go. Let go those ideas, dear friends. So development of speeches is what I learned in my second year. You all remember Toastmasters Premier League. How many of you? We were still online those days. I didn't know that I could go to other clubs also and give speeches. I chanced upon it and I said, why not I go to many clubs? That's when I became a DTM, a daily Toastmaster. I was seen in many club meetings since they were being held online. Every day, except the general evaluator role, I have taken all kinds of role in different clubs. Why did I join Toastmaster? Is what I realized when I kept hopping clubs. drive. I was driven out of my home club and go and give speeches elsewhere. I have repeated many of my speeches, got many evaluations, corrected my speech, developed it again and again, went in another club and gave it. I don't know what drove me there. However, today, I drive. I drive my public speaking bus. At every stop, I stopped at Toastmasters meeting in different clubs. I saw many people coming on to the meeting. I made friends with them, associations. Trust me, before I joined Toastmasters, I had X number of contacts in my phone. Today I have 200 plus, I've added 200 plus to it. I came here for association, and that's what got built in Toastmasters while I was in this journey of completing one path. Some of my mentors, elders, and celebrated speakers told me, Nagesh, what you learn in Toastmasters is not for Toastmasters. You need to go out and try your public speaking skills. For those of you who don't know, I have been a teacher in engineering college as my passion from 2008 onwards. Talking to a homogeneous crowd was very easy for me. One was the association that I wanted to build at my age. Second was I wanted to talk to a heterogeneous crowd like this. That's the reason why I joined Toastmasters. I didn't know how to address a heterogeneous crowd. Having completed so many speeches, repeated my speeches, and when this Toastmaster said, Nagesh, now is the time that you have to go out and give your speeches, I said, yes, what am I doing only in Toastmasters? Why shouldn't I? That was the time that I reached out to many associations that I was part of. I reached out to many engineering colleges where I used to teach. I said, can I do something more for you other than the technical subjects that I come to you for? Oh, I got a rousing welcome. They said, why not? We have a lot of time. We are online. Toastmasters, in next 4 months, I went to 11 different places and different topics I spoke to a lot of people. Yes, I had my mistakes. I did mistakes and I corrected them in the subsequent speeches when I was giving speeches outside. That's what I said. Deliver. The fourth D, deliver. Deliver outside the Toastmaster and see how good you are. I have repeated some of my speeches in outside Toastmasters and with a different flavor to see if was I right, did I do it well. The fifth D is delight. I started my journey as somebody who was not a public speaker but I was carving for it. But today, if I look back my journey, it's very delightful. I have made loves with Toastmasters. Recently there was a coronation, many of you know. The different district is called as Crescendo. We had put a board over there. I love Toastmasters. I have a beautiful photograph showing that. Unfortunately, I don't have it here. I said, I love Toastmasters. It's given me so many things, association, friends, mentors, celebrated speakers that I have associated with. I've learned from them. It's so delightful. Toastmasters, those were the 4 Ds. You have heard about that story. An old man standing in a chilled water on a winter, his strength coming from a light far away from there, which people said that in the court of Akbar. There was a motivation for that man to stand there. There was a need, there was a reason for that man to stand there. I stand here at Toastmasters dais, drawing my strengths for those stars who are, some of them are here, some of them are not attending here, but still in BDMC. I derive my inspiration and strengths from them. A long way to go. Long way to go. But one letter that I wanted to add to that rise is A. I got my association. I have risen. I have arisen from being a spectator to an audience to a speaker. Association in awakening and arised is what I can say. I have a long way to go. Completing one path is just a very small milestone for me. There are many paths in Toastmasters pathway. I'll take that sometime. Back to you.
Toastmaster Nagesh, this is the first session where members came here prepared. Speech has some guidelines and
Path breaker, standing ovation.
oh yes. Let's give a standing ovation for Nagesh for now you have an opportunity to vote. So we had Anoka Sham, we had Nagesh Pet, we had Hari Rajdeep and 4D, sorry, that was actually Shashank Pet and 4D Nagesh. Well, I was a bit confused whether it's 5D or 4D. And there's a link in the WhatsApp group and the password is June.
June.
Right.
June. Lovely.
Caps or non-caps, doesn't matter. June. The boy went to a sweet stall and he asked, what is that you have here which doesn't have fat and sugar? And the owner replied, tissue paper. Toastmasters, I think we have got something better today. Let's take a short break, 5 minutes. Second session, we call it as table topic session. I'll not talk a lot about it because the table topic master himself is an energetic, charismatic man sitting here. But something very unique about him. He's from this place where the first Satyagraha movement began under the leadership of TM Ghanshyam. Which is this place? Ajay Tamsa, I've asked to put in the airplane mode so nobody's googling.
Champaran.
Wow, yes, here's a man from Gujarat himself. So, He's a salesperson and you can see it yourself. Please put your hands together for Karuna Tunde.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, today's theme is centered around environment and earth. So my topics are going to be revolving around Earth, our planet Earth. And the first topic goes to the youngest man of the club, and the topic is, how has the nature changed around you in the last 50 years? How has the nature changed around you in the last 50 years? Goes to Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza.
I came to Bangalore in 1972. Every day, 4 times I used to go through Kavam Park. I was working in the High Court. And today you can see the difference. What has happened to the park? That time, vehicles were not allowed. Today vehicles are allowed. That time, there are plenty of people. Entire greenery has gone. Not only in Kavam Park, but the place where I stay. I was allotted a small site, 30 by 40. And in front of me, there were small sites, and my contractor said, "Sir, you work in Vidhansabha, why you have taken this site, such a small site? In front of a house, there would be slums." In 1987, when I started constructing the house, I was not allowed to put up a car shed. I was told that you can construct only 1 floor. Today, in front of my house, 25 by 30 sites, the contractor had said, slums are going to come up there. No. Mine is the smallest house in that area. In front of me, there were apartments more than 5 stories. That's how it has been. Where is the greenery? We were all shouting, going Bangalore, pensioners' paradise were entering. Where is the pensioners' paradise? Most of the trees have gone for the sake of development and metro. That's what I see today, friends. Over to you.
And the next set of topics revolve around your environmental studies education in your school days. The next topic, why is it important to recycle? Why is it important to recycle? Goes to Alan Arhana. Put your hands up.
Why is it important to recycle? Now, you all would be expecting me to kind of talk from an environmental perspective, which I will touch upon briefly. But I also think that when I talk about recycling, it's also very important as people to take good ideas from someone and present it again in the best way that you can, right? Today, we live in a world where everyone says, I want to come up with a very original idea. Every idea somewhere is related to something else. So it's not a bad idea to take inspiration, kind of recycle it and present it in your own way. We are, again, if you see today, you have in the era of Netflix, Amazon, you have original series coming out, right? Every story is unique in their own way and the way it is presented. Now, when it comes to recycling, today we heard a very good example of someone who takes a bag every time they go to a store. I am planning to do that as well. We are living in a generation where we are aware that we are not supposed to take plastics and go everywhere, but every other aspect of our life is defined by the plastic around us. My only thing to you is, when it comes to recycling, environment-wise, please do it. But when it comes to ideas, take inspiration and present it in your own way and in the best way possible.
Okay, the next one. How could saving the environment
make people healthier? Very simple topic. How could saving the environment make people healthier? Goes to Vaidyanathan. Put your hands up for him, please.
Obviously, it will make our mental health much healthier than what we can easily think of. So I go for let me take my own example. I go for a daily walk, and my area, the area where I stay, has got a lot of hills. You need to climb up and down. So I used to start quite early in the morning, maybe around 5:15. You can see me walking around the streets of Paranagar. But trust me, there is one man who is close to 70, you can say. Every day he waters the tree along the side of the streets in Paranagar. I've been seeing him for the past many, many years. So he's not going to take anything out of him because I'm not too sure. Maybe even after 20, 25 years, he can live for another 25 years. But the trees or the saplings that he has planted are the kind of care that he takes to water those saplings. And the ones which have grown, I think he is not going to stay in the shade of the trees that he had planted. But there are going to be many more souls like the one who is standing in front of you are going to get benefit out of it. Earlier, I was staying in a different area in Bangalore, which is a bit of a desert-like, which doesn't have that much of tree. And the kind of feeling that I used to have when I used to walk in that particular area and the one which I walk now, there is a sea of difference. The serenity which gives, you feel when you walk, when you are surrounded by greenery, is awesome. That has to be experienced, it can't be spoken. So ladies and gentlemen, my only request at this point in time is, wherever you are, whichever locality you are, try to plant a tree. Don't think about the tree which you are going to plant now is the one which is going to give the shade or not, because we don't know, our life is finite. We may not be able to enjoy the shade that the tree that we are going to plant now is going to enjoy, but somebody else will enjoy the tree that you plant. Okay, so it will give a lot of mental satisfaction, and the serenity that it can offer can be boundless. So please do plant at least one. I've done many in my lifetime. Thank you.
Pretty good ideas and suggestions so far. Well, the next one. Complete the sentence. I see the effects of pollution when. I see the effects of pollution when. Goes to Puneet Surana. Your hands up for him.
Members, guests, and everybody here. I see pollution everywhere, and I'm sure each of you do too. But I want to point out these small things that we are overlooking. I remember in my 9th grade, 9th standard, there was a student in my class whose house we had gone to for his birthday, and when I went to his room, under his bed, there was this big bucket of just medicines. And I pulled it out and started looking at it instead of searching for toys. And his mom came in and told me, this is for him, he has asthma. And she told me something that I always remember. She's like, doctor told him very clearly, either you want to stay alive, then you have to go out of Bangalore, or you have to use all these medicines on a daily basis. I see pollution every day, and somehow we have just bracketed down to the air, noise, wind, or whatever these pollution we have taught in school. But I'm telling you, there's pollution right now in this hall. In my past startup, we had commissioned a study that came across and just blew me away when we looked at data over 3 crore rupees. Was that the socks in a kid's leg that we wear, like a 2-year-old or 1-year-old toddler, the chemicals in that, the EDC chemicals, endocrine disrupting chemicals, they were found in the kid's pee. I mean, the pollution starts way before each of you and I think it has started. The pollution that we are witnessing is really whitewashed. It's on the papers, but it's not really as evident. You want to see real pollution? Go out of Bangalore and see the dump yards. You want to see your eyes pop open? Go to a cement factory and try to breathe. In the entire country, there's just one Ambuja factory, which has a plant that can survive in a cement factory. And they use it as a PR thing, but imagine the kind of pollution they're surrounded by. Look at Vishabhavati Nadi. That was a freaking river, and look at what's happened to it now. You really want to see pollution get out of the city, because inside the city, you can't see the underbelly of pollution that's hidden by all the government agencies and people who profit from it. There are too many mafias around it. The real pollution is outside the city. Thank you.
Is it necessary to own a car? Is it necessary to own a car? Goes to Toastmaster Vivek Vijay.
Absolutely. It is necessary to own a car. So it is like most of us here would be from middle class or the upper middle class background, and so we all own a car or more than one car. Then you want the rest of the world not to own a car. It's like the European or the Western world. We say reduce pollution, because overall we have an increased pollution, and now the consequences are to be suffered by people who have not enjoyed the benefits of that. So it is necessary for people to own a car, because why do you need that to own a car? Some people need it to say that they have arrived. They have arrived. So that is an immense amount of happiness for the family. That also adds to that and happiness to the family, and they all go together somewhere. All those are necessary for the overall happiness of the whole world. So I strongly feel that one car, absolutely, we should, there is a necessity for a car for people to feel that they have arrived. Is it necessary for them to drive around all the time? Not at all, they shouldn't. Is there a necessity for a second car? Not at all. So absolutely one car everybody should own and get fed up of it and then go back home. Till then everybody should get a car.
Just one car, that is the limit, everyone. Okay. Simple topic. What is your commitment to the environment? And believe that 50 people are watching you. What is your commitment to the environment? Goes to Prateek Uttappa.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I guess. Good evening. My commitment to the environment is to reuse. I would have thought about recycling, but I do not have the skills to recycle. So I would prefer to reuse things. So every morning when I go to a supermarket, I carry a bag. So I have already tried this during in the last few years, and the number of plastic bags that used to get accumulated at home. So we all used to have a bag filled with plastic. So that's not at my house now. And in case I have to dispose something, I usually run out of plastic. That is when I feel, the earlier thing that we used to do, that was about accumulating. So we should have been doing that. So I still follow it, and I urge you all to reuse, so that it's like a small contribution from each of us is definitely going to make this planet Earth a better place. And also it will help us in protecting our environment and as being a responsible citizen.
What do you think is the most useful tool to address climate change? What do you think is the most useful tool to address climate change? Vijay, come up please.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. The most useful tool in bringing about a climate change or improving the environment is doing it, action. So there are a lot of materials, there are a lot of surveys, there are a lot of journals that have been written on how environment preservation, protection has to happen. But the need of the hour is action. Because the time for planning and forecasting things has gone past. Last few years we already seen how fast a situation can aggravate and there can be no time to recover. So now is the time to do action. So if I have to give 3 steps, in which you can bring about become a responsible environmentalist or like contributes towards improving the environment is first, recycle. So wherever you go, as some of our friends told, reuse the same plastic. Try to minimize the purchasing unwanted things, just like car, second car. Then recycle, reuse. The reuse and recycle are the 2 things, and third one is repeat. Basically, repeat these 2 or 4 things, and then you are going to have a better thing. So one of the thing, my first interface with the environment thing is, if any one of you have gone to Marathali, from the Marathali signal towards the further down the line, what are the trees you are currently seeing on the road currently have been part of a tree planting initiative. And I think I have not gone to that area for past couple of years, but whenever I go, I see the small samplings, whatever I have planted, they have grown slightly up. But I'm sure over a period of time they will become larger trees, and as Vaidya told, next generations are going to reap the benefits. Back to the Toastmaster.
Okay, next topic. Where is the most beautiful nature in your hometown? Where is the most beautiful nature in your hometown? Goes to Toastmaster Saurabh.
Here.
Saurabh,
Yeah.
please come. Topic again for your convenience. Where is the most beautiful nature in your hometown?
Okay. The more beautiful nature in my hometown is the park which is near to my home, and the lake which is just a little far from my home. The reason why I feel that that is the more beautiful is because whenever I go there, because if I stay at my home, I don't see bird flying or monkey jumping. But if I go to this natural place, I can definitely see the glimpse of natural environment and then greenery and then birds and animals which I love to watch. And that is the reason why I feel that these are most natural placed near my home. Thank you.
Okay, and here we have the last topic of the day, and it goes to Toastmaster Gururaj. Your topic is, what do you appreciate about our earth? What do you appreciate about our earth? Toastmaster Gururaj, please put your hand up. About the earth, the most.
Well, hi everybody, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, it's a nice topic. What do I appreciate about this planet that we live in? I think there's nothing that I cannot appreciate about this place. I think when people talk about going to heaven, they talk about going to heaven when they are actually living in heaven. And I think we're supposed to make this place heaven. There's no point in, dying and then looking for something beyond our life that we will get some place which is better than this. So I think there is nothing on this planet that we can really be ungrateful for. We should be grateful for whatever we get. Since the moment we were born, I think our parents, my parents will be the one thing that I really appreciate them for everything they've done for me. So starting with that, my every step of life, I think I appreciate every walk of life that I have had so far. And yeah, the nature, the environment, the beauty, the rain, everything is nice. I think this world is such a beautiful place, and I think we must make it better. I think we should work hard to make it.
Moral of the story, please don't die, don't aim for heaven. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. And for us to have a healthy planet, we just need to work on our attitude, as attitude is far bigger environmental factor than many people realize. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Karunakar. We call him KD. That's his right? Toastmasters, what you witness now, that's where the biggest learning happens. So there are two goals here. One, anyone attends this meeting should come here and give at least a small talk. Second, thinking on the feet. Now go to Gururaj, he can give a very big speech, but ask him, he did brilliant today here, but then when you come here, you tend to forget things. So this is a platform where you come and learn. Now our evaluator, for the general evaluator for today, I asked him, how does he want to bring in a change? And he said he believes in the education system. He tells, you have more educated people and this world will be a better place because educated people will know what exactly to do. And what I really love about him, I'm a big fan of him, especially when he is a table topic speaker. You give him any topic and the way he responds to it, it's absolutely marvelous. Please put your hands together to the general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Alok Singh.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. There was so much firepower on stage today that it rained even before the meeting started. Just to cool things down and keep us all in the room. So that was the lineup today, wasn't it? Toastmaster Somshekhar, Toastmaster Rajdeep, KD, as he is fondly forbidden. Okay, I can't see KD here, but yeah, that was the lineup we had today of speakers and role takers, the evaluators. So it was an amazing meeting, and first of all, for that, I would like to thank our VP Education. Putting these meetings together, putting all of us together week on week for the last 20 weeks or so, and we'll continue to do it for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. Thanks for that. Thanks for an amazing lineup today and for every week that we've had now. And on that note, a small request to the role takers and the prepared speeches in particular. Toastmaster Smita was even exhorting at 4 p.m. today for all of us to update our respective roles on the website. Maybe that is something we could have done a little earlier so that she has enough time to put out the agenda. So that's in the background. That's in the background. Now, getting to the meeting in particular, this evening's meeting in particular, World Environment Day on June 5th, the theme could not have been more apt. The earth is all we have in common. And the first thing that I noticed is the word itself in pleasant colors of green and blue as a toast to the theme and as a toast to the World Environment Day. That was very well done, Sergeant at Arms. Or your company, who is it? Okay. Education, VP Education in Action. Thank you, ma'am, for that. It's very apt with the theme that we have today. And first on stage, of course, was the SAA. She's been doing it for multiple weeks now, and she continued to do it today in her own style. Thanks for welcoming all of us and giving us those important instructions, which I'm sure all of us need to be reminded, or it will still be lost in our phones
still be doing what we want even at the beginning of the meeting. So thanks for educating us week on week. You had a very apt start to the meeting, again in connection with the theme. The quote that you presented was very deep, it was very apt to the meeting. But my suggestion again is, could you have memorized the quote? There was two things you could have done. One, it would have freed your hand to use gestures, and two, it would have helped your energy. Whenever you're looking at something and reading it out, maybe it affects our energy. Like it's just going to me here. Maybe if I'm looking at my diary all the time, then it affects my energy a little bit. Maybe if you're looking at your mobile all the time, it affects your energy. So maybe you could have just memorized it, it would have helped your hands to the gestures, and it would have helped you get a lot more energy at the beginning of the meeting. So that's one suggestion. And again, a wonderful introduction to the presiding officer of the day. That was very neatly done. Congratulations, Chaitra, on your role. A round of applause. Up next, we had the presiding officer for the evening, Toastmaster George Lisa. I must compliment Toastmaster Hannah, the president, for being magnanimous and giving an opportunity for all the members of the committee to be the presiding officers in multiple weeks. So thanks a lot for that, Toastmaster Hannah. And Toastmaster George, when he walked on stage, he was an embodiment of confidence and clarity today. I really liked the way he talked about the theme, and I really liked the way he had a personal story to bring in the importance of Toastmasters. I'm sure you presented that dignified address that is required as the presiding officer of the day. That was very well done. Just a minor suggestion, maybe you could use the stage a lot more. I could see you alternating between this podium here and this portion here. You could have probably used the stage a lot more in your role. That's just a minor suggestion. But on a very well done. Congratulations to you, Toastmaster George. Up next, we had Toastmaster Somsekhar. Toastmaster Somsekhar, you mentioned that Toastmaster Rajdeep's name makes people walk to the club. Your name does the same. Whenever you are a part of the role takers, we love to be here and we walk in to listen to you week on week as well. And I can say he was energetic, I can say his tone is conversation, but all that has been said before, and Toastmaster Somsekhar knows it. Now, I want to let you guys know why I feel this was a TOD masterclass for anyone who wants to be a TOD. Now, the moment he came on stage, we talked about stories, personal stories. I felt what was amazing about it, he had a personal story when he talked about cycling and about his friend who was looking at someone else, and that's why he secured 35%. That was a lot of humor. But what I felt, which was very nice that he did in the beginning, was the You Connect. He brought up the names of 3 Toastmasters. He talked about Toastmaster Jospal. He talked about Toastmaster Nitin. He brought about Toastmaster George. Now, what that does is it establishes an instant connect with the audience. When I say I have Toastmaster Abhay sitting here and is an excellent friend of mine, you start thinking, who is Abhay? Or maybe you're listening to me just so that I will probably, there is that hope somewhere that I can probably bring your name up when I speak about it. And that establishes an instant connect with the audience. And I felt that was very well done in bringing that You Connect. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, there was this, there were these personal stories throughout the speech, and the improvisation that he did. Now, we all knew that there was 4 speeches in a day. In this evening, 4 speeches takes about 18, 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes of your time. So what he did, the way he improvised that was that he did not invite all the role takers, the tag and team or the general evaluator to come on stage and describe their roles, because that happens week on week. Because we have 4 speakers, the most important thing was to get the speakers on stage as quickly as possible. And that is what he did very well. And that again is the awareness that a TMOD or an MC needs to have. And that is why I again mentioned that this is a TOD masterclass. The transitions again were amazing. When Toastmaster Ghanshyam faltered a little, he immediately brought him up saying, this guy is working in one of the biggest MNCs in the world and he's going to be a powerful orator one day. And that is the kind of encouragement you require on your first speech. So that is why, ladies and gentlemen, today I really feel was a TOD masterclass, and providing that was, I would want to congratulate Toastmasters. With that, we move on to the prepared speeches to evaluate the first speaker of the day, Toastmaster Ghanshyam. I would request Toastmaster Ayappa, who is leading too.
failure is not about falling down, it's all about refusing not to get up. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and my speaker, Toastmaster Ghanshyam in particular. First of all, congratulations for your brave attempt in completing your icebreaker speech. I loved the way you started speaking, Namaskar. I thought you were a proud Kannadiga. And you started asking questions, brilliantly went well. And you spoke about your family, you spoke about your love for your mom, and also certain humor in your speech. You said, my dad loves money more, but he loves me too. And one thing I liked in your speech is the smile you had throughout your speech. Though you forgot your speech, and you managed to complete, and it was nowhere your nervousness was visible because you were smiling on your face. Now, what is it, certain things you could do better in your speech? Probably, for me it is 5 P's. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Once you freeze your speech, probably at least 2 to 3 days before you freeze your speech. Once you freeze your speech, don't try to modify your speech. And just do as many dry runs as possible. And that's the only suggestion. And one more thing is, even if you forgot your speech, because it is your content, okay, it is your content, you will have the flow in mind, just, as a normal dialogue mode, just speak it out, that's it. Don't try to download the content, what you've written in your paper. That's what happened in your case. But having said that, your smile was impeccable, and you just keep your smile and just deliver as many speeches as possible. And congratulations, all the best for the next speeches. Thank you.
Toastmaster Ghanshyam, I totally echo with what Toastmaster Ayappa just said. I'd just like to add that it was, this being your first speech, we have all been there. It was extremely courageous of you to come here without any notes and attempt to give a speech. So on that, very well done. It was amazingly courageous of you to come on stage without notes and try to give a speech. Well done, Toastmaster Ghanshyam. Up next, we had Toastmaster Shashank, who is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Nagesh.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Speaker Shashank. When you were on stage, I went back a few years, and what I was trying to visualize or trying to understand was how similar is your love for animals with that of someone who I very closely was associated with. He was working for an NGO. He started the NGO and started to do things for stray dogs, and I was very closely associated, and it took me back to that moment in time. What I really loved about your speech was how instantly you could connect with the audience. The absolute sheer simplicity of your topic and the kind of questions you initially asked built that connect like this. So for any speaker, and especially for someone like a trainer, that connect with the audience is probably as good as gold. If I were to technically also dissect your speech, what I observed was you dwelt very little on you quickly explained the problem and then went on to the solution space. You spent most of your time, let's say 75% of your speech in talking about a solution to the problem that you observed. So these were the best aspects of your speech. What I took away from your speech was how important it is for us to adopt animals and show empathy towards strays and any other animals that we might encounter. Having said all of this about your speech, there are a couple of suggestions that I have taken note of. The first thing was about the presentation. In my opinion, I felt that you walked about at times too many. So perhaps you could look at the video and then you would realize if you want to talk or get the audience's attention, perhaps stick to one place or move about purposefully. I think make a few points here, then perhaps go here and then make a few points. So you connect with the audience in much more entirely. The other part that I want to talk to you about is that you had a very powerful words or title of your speech in adopt, adapt, and assure. So what I missed was, why did you not conclude with this? So perhaps you might have said, now that you've listened to my speech, I hope that you will try to adopt, adapt, and also assure. And this could have made your speech much more impactful, because the power of three always works. And you did have the power of three in your speech in there. So with these suggestions, I hope you could take your speaking skills to the next level. These are only my suggestions and nothing more. Over to you, Keith.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Ray. I personally am someone who stays away from pets, Toastmaster Shashank, but what I realized today is the emotional intelligence that comes with having a pet. So that is something that I've heard a lot of times, but in your speech it came across extremely obviously. Congratulations for speech written. A round of applause to speakers and the evaluators. Moving on, talking about the H syndrome, we had Toastmaster Rajdeep and DTM Rajdeep, and to evaluate him we have Toastmaster Nagesh.
Thank you, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, and DTM Rajdeep in particular. When Toastmaster Somshekhar mentioned that DTM Rajdeep draws the crowd to Toastmasters Club, he was not telling anything lies, he was telling the truth. And when Smita Roshi asked me to be the evaluator to DTM Rajdeep, I wanted to skip the ring. It's not difficult, it's not easy to evaluate a speaker like Rajdeep. But the person who gave me the confidence was Rajdeep himself. He said, don't worry, please evaluate, go ahead and evaluate. Fine, it was great. Coming to the speech, he was speaking on Harish syndrome, H syndrome, and his project guidelines was to concentrate on voice variety, vocal variety, and he did it in style. The way he talked about the supermarket, the lady shouting at the man who was in front, and various examples he gave. The student racing ahead, and the restaurant, so many things, all fun-filled, and a lot of voice modulation was there. And beautifully, he also had a nice conclusion. What is the solution? Wait. He brought that psychologists say that you need to wait, you need to pause. I think the speech had its meaning and it served the purpose quite well. As an evaluator, I was just thinking, what is that I can evaluate Rajdeep's speech? And then I went to the timer and asked for his time. He said he just managed to touch 6 minutes 55 seconds. I said, oh my God, this is something I can talk about. Actually, I felt, Rajdeep, your speech was little faster, little, and probably it would have slowed down. But you got, caught up with the title of Harish syndrome, and where I thought you could cut down was maybe examples, one or two you could cut down, and specifically in the conclusion, when you talked about just wait, otherwise nature will slow down. Probably could have stopped down. The meaning was very well, it was driven to the audience. But you went on to give Roger Moore example and Chris Reeve. Probably that was, cutting on to your time, but you managed very well. I think only a master class person like you can manage. Well done, Rajdeep. I have nothing more to comment. You deserve a round of applause from the audience.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Then there you go, a master evaluator or evaluating a master speaker. What more do you want? Anyway, today I think I was able to put a name to a syndrome that we see all around us and experience ourselves, the H syndrome. So that was my biggest takeaway from the entire speech. Thank you, Toastmaster Rasi. Thank you, Toastmaster Nagesh. A round of applause for the speakers. The final speech of the day, again, a milestone speech by Toastmaster Nagesh Ramamurthy, and to evaluate Toastmaster Nagesh, we have DTM Teresa.
Mr. G, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests, and my friend Toastmaster Nagesh. First and foremost, I congratulate you for completing your pathway motivational strategies. I would like to mention 3 points where you impress the audience. I like the way you started your speech, opened your speech with a question where you added one more letter to word rise. And also I like how you connected your icebreaker speech with your train journey, and we thought it will be a story and you made audience to hook your speech. Also, you explained in the beginning the title of your speech, that 5 Ds: dedicate, develop, drive, delivery, and delight. So we knew what you are going to speak. Toastmaster Nagesh, I love the way you, until your icebreaker speech, I love the flow of your speech and liked how you connected with your journey. Your usage of stage and the gesture, language, pronunciation were too good. Now, Toastmaster Nagesh, I observed 2 points where I would like to mention here. This is your pathbreaker speech or milestone speech. Path is motivational strategies, where a Toastmaster learns about building skills and motivating others. I was expecting from you to give a gist of all speeches. We have about 5 levels. Each speech, what you learned, and this is a summary of each word, and how did you build the skills, and how you could motivate others, both in your personal life as well as your professional life. The reason for this is we are all here struggling to choose the path, because there are 11 pathways. So if you had explained us each speech and the usage, we will all be delighted. Second point I would like to mention is, I observed long pauses, many at a time, and some places I observed were lost and referring the rules. When I said about the commendation that your language and your vocal variety stage, I recommend, against your title 5D, I recommend 5P. I'm not talking to my previous collaborator. 5P is that, or I can reduce 4 Ps. Proper preparation, planning, practice will help you, Toastmaster Nagesh, to perform. It's the 4th P. Very well. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Teresa. That brings us to the end of the first segment of the evaluation. Congratulations to Toastmaster Nagesh on completing a milestone again. With that, we'll have to vote for the best evaluator and also the best table topic speaker. Yeah, both of them. So please vote for the best table topic speaker and the evaluator. We do my part as well. The password is June. Are we done? Can I have a show of hands or thumbs up? That's nice. I believe some of us are still working, so it's possible. Right, if you're still looking at your phone, I'll assume you're looking at your Instagram feed. With that, we move on to the second segment, which is the table topic session. The table topic master of the day, Karunakar Dev, KD as he's popularly called. I won't be evaluating him today because he'll be evaluated once he goes back home. Right, that was more like a note or maybe a serious note. KD was in his element today. He aligned very well with the theme and had topics which were connected to the environment, connected to the World Environment Day, and I felt all the speakers who were on stage today had a meaningful message to give us on how we could conserve the environment, what is it that we can do as individuals, or what is being done by people out there. So it was an extremely apt session. Again, you allowed the limelight to the speakers and helped them convey the message. The topics were such, so congratulations on the job well done, KD. Now, if there is one suggestion, probably I felt you missed the transitions today. Once the speakers left and before the other speakers came in, a sentence here and there about how the speaker fared on stage and connecting him to the next speaker could have been the icing on the cake. So, job well done, KD, like always. Wonderful to have you do the table topics gig week on week. Congratulations. With that, we come to the next segment, which is the reports of the target team. Now is their time to have a spotlight. As the timer, we have Toastmaster Nagesh.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening. Today we started a meeting exactly at 6:30 p.m. starting with SAA Chaitra, which spoke for 3 minutes. Then presiding officer George spoke for 6 minutes. Our TM Modi, TM Shashank spoke for overall 16 minutes with all the transition and individual speeches. Prepared the speeches, Toastmaster Ghanshyam 3 minutes 30 seconds, Toastmaster Shashank 7 minutes, DTM Rajdeep 6 minutes 55 seconds, and Toastmaster Nagesh spoke for 12 minutes and 25 seconds. Then we had a break for 10 minutes with wonderful snacks. Then we started table topic session at 7:40. We had overall 20-minute session where Toastmaster Karunakar Dev spoke for 5 minutes and allowed maximum time for other speakers. Total 9 speakers have spoken for about 15 minutes. And our general evaluator, as of now, has taken 12 minutes of stage time. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nagendra, for the report and for reminding me that I need to wrap this up quickly. Moving on, we had as the R counter Toastmaster Chetan.
Good evening, Toastmaster. TM George, favorite word is so. He used 4 times so. And Ghanshyam used and 3 times. And the repeated words is secret behind. And the Toastmaster Saurabh used 3 times. Thank you.
Crisp. Next we have the grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Sarika.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Good evening. Today was a day packed with linguistic glory. Some admirable usages were resonate with Padar Maradesh, ethical readers, cross the rainbow bridge. We are giving a better life to a life which had no life. Swarms of buyers, shopping extravaganza, chaos, commotion and confusion, right from Rajdeep M, the alliteration, more catastrophic than cancer and more appalling than AIDS, badge of honor, hurry has enveloped our generation, lush green meadows, and dedication, development, drive and deliver. Now, as the Chief Investigating Language Officer, I had a tough job today. No blunders, and hence I could not thunder. With this, I conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sureka, for the report. I would like to take a moment here to recognize her love and affection for the club in the way she has been. It's finally wonderful to have you here this evening. The Toastmasters meetings feed our intellect, but your snacks feed our hunger. And both of them are equally important. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
With them with the magic of love.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you for doing that week on week for us. Finally, we have our listener for the day, Toastmaster Yash. Please test how attentive you are.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So we're going to do a short exercise. I'm going to pick out random people within the audience, and then I'm going to ask you a question, and you have to get it right. Okay? So at the beginning, when we started, we were speaking about climate change. So what was the change in temperature that we were talking about yearly? Yourself. That's right. So our theme for the day is the earth is what we have in common. And someone here said that I'll go again. Our theme for the day is earth is what we have in common. And we were told it is given by this person. Who is that person? What is the occupation of that person? Correct. So, next question is, Toastmaster Shashank mentioned that Toastmaster Shashank was talking about pets. So which part of Bangalore did he mention when he was talking about pets? Fantastic. And then next, Toastmaster Rajdeep, his topic for the day for his speech had which name of the training? What was the name of the training? Anyone know?
Waiting.
And lastly, Toastmasters Nagesh, his theme for the day was, he said that the core values of Toastmasters was RISE, rise. And then he added a letter behind that. A. What did A stand for?
Association.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Yash, for helping us rewind the meeting. With that, we'll have the form for the talent team that's up in the group. Please vote for best role taker as part of the talent team. With that, I'd like to thank you all for listening to me for so long, and the President and the VP Education to give me an opportunity to be a genie in a meeting where I'm not ambivalent at all that this was a stunning evening for all of us. Back to the table.
Toastmaster Alok, wasn't he brilliant? Right? He really lightened up the room. Please give another round of applause. Dear guests, evaluation, when people come here and give feedback, it is their personal opinion. It's not like in a classroom where you say, oh, Alok told me this and today I have to do this thing. Right? So you are the final judge. Usually, the feedback, that's packed with a lot of wisdom and it helps, but you are the final judge. So today, looking at all our speakers giving such strong messages on environment, I thought for our 25th year, we should have had this theme, right? So maybe now I really urge our committee to have a cycling trip. So let me see, I will just discuss Vijay and see how we can arrange this in the name of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I'm very sure there are a lot of enthusiasts who would support me. Alright, yes, I can see a lot of thumbs up coming in. Toastmasters. Do you know about this girl, Greta Thunberg? Right. Yes. So, at the age of 15, she sat in front of the parliament in Sweden and spoke about environment. People said, you better go to school and become an environmental scientist. She says, there are plenty of scientists. The analysis is over. Now you need to act. I don't want to go to school and become one more scientist. I will sit here and ensure that people take action to bring in a change to this world. I think we can also take that step. Don't ask what is Gururaj doing actually, what is our Ghanshyam doing, right? Ask yourself, what can you do? Can be just turning off a light. Over to you, President.
So, I'm completely soaked. I'm wrapped with climate and environmental day. I think we need to shift the date from June 5 to June 3rd. That's the beauty of BTMC, what has brought today's theme. Let us give a big round of applause to all of them. So, even though we are running out of time, but still worth. So, I would request our guests to come on stage to have a short intro of them and also to tell about their experience of today's meeting. I should see 3 people with of guests. And please come forward.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Moksha. I want to introduce I want to be fluent in English. Hence, I was suggested by one of my friends to join Toastmaster. And this is my second session. I enjoyed it again. Thank you.
So, yeah. Okay, so, couple of them. Yeah. Social experience.
Yes.
So good evening everyone. So this is my first Toastmaster session and I've been planning to come from a very long time. I've always heard of Toastmasters, how it helps one develop their personal skills as well, how it helps people to kill it in the world, to be able to stand in front of a crowd and talk to hundreds of people without facing an issue. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm here. I want that confidence. I want to be someone who's able to address a crowd and not care about what the outcome is going to be. I want to be someone who can stand in front of everyone and engage the whole crowd and I want everyone to listen to me. That's my goal. And that's why I'm here. Thank you.
So every Friday when I propose an outing to my husband, he's super excited to come here every time and so every time it doesn't work. But today when I'm here amongst you all, I realize why he rushes to this place. So it is an amazing experience, an amazing vibe that I get, and maybe I'm taking the stage after so long, not this stage but any stage after a very long time. So maybe I'm a little nervous, but it was an amazing experience. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I have been waiting to turn 18 and join this platform. I hope I can make it every Friday instead of going out with my friends and encourage my other friends to come to me. Thank you.
Okay, so I think thanks a lot and we look forward for your presence in the coming weeks. Yeah, thanks a lot. So now coming to the awards. Best Tagger team goes to the obvious Toastmaster Sureka, second. Yeah, best table topic speaker today goes to Toastmaster Guru Raj. Best role taker goes to Toastmaster Somshekhar. Best evaluation award goes to Toastmaster Nitin. And the best speaker award goes to DTM Rajdeep M. So before we finish, we have a couple of important announcements. On June 17th, we have the election. So 12th is the last date for nomination. So people who are interested for the next committee, please do nominate yourselves. So with that, it was a beautiful meeting. With that, I adjourn the meeting 1327. Yeah.